Sit back and get ready to have the most fun you ever had with an electronic device.
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Get On With It Sports Show. It is Wednesday, July the 26th, 2023. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. RadioPete and Mr. Harry Lug Nutz. Say hello, gentlemen.
What's up?
What's going on this evening?
Hello.
Our last show of July. Next week's August.
No way.
The dog days of summer, man.
Lazy, hazy, crazy days.
This last week feels like it's like passed by in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think I am officially like Long Island is now Florida.
In the fact that there's a bunch of people wandering around not knowing where they're going.
No, weather-wise.
Weather-wise.
It's like hot and humid and crappy. Less sunny. And then we have a rain squall every afternoon. And then it's just even worse and more humid.
Okay.
And then the sun comes out.
I figured...
every day.
Yeah.
Just like Florida.
Pretty much. I figured I'd go in solidarity with my boy, Saquon. You know, but a different color scheme. Right?
Sure.
So, anyway.
If we could just get behind the workers of Walmart and Amazon as much as we do the running backs of the NFL.
I tell you, that would be a lovely thing. So, anyway, got a couple of kick it off the fun show with some memes, some graphics.
The
memes. First one today is right here. Leash your dog. People are eating children in this area. Clean up after them.
Yeah. People can eat children, but dogs.
Got to stay on the leashes.
Yeah, you don't want to drop any.
Well, what's the real
foot.
message here? That people are eating children and the dogs will get the wrong idea?
I think what it is that people are eating and children are in this area.
That's a given, but we didn't. I'm saying
without the punctuation, and obviously those two parts go together because they're a different color.
Well, I think that people don't want to share their children with the dogs.
Exactly.
People
At
love
least your dog. You can hold them back.
People love dogs, and you don't want the dog to be mistaken for a child and get eaten.
Well,
that's also another thing. I follow you now. All right. Well, there's that one. Here's another one that I found interesting. Shoplifters will be prostituted.
Excellent.
As they should be.
Yes.
I think that is the proper
usage punishment. Yeah.
Where will I find the prostitutes in the grocery store, though? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
What aisle is that?
Six. Usually, yeah. Okay. So there's that one. This was also a funny one. Violators will be towed and fined $50.
Well, depending on how much the tow costs, that's not bad.
It might be a wash.
Yeah. No, you might actually make a little profit.
No, I doubt it. You're paying $500 minimum every time you get
for a tow.
Well, maybe we don't even know if this is in the big city.
But say you have a car.
I'm gonna say it's not.
Say you have a car that's worth less than $50. You get it towed away for free, and you get $50.
Not a bad idea.
Or if your buddy wants to sell his old jalopy for like $50,
right?
You go, I'm not going to bother going to get the car.
If you want to leave a spouse in the car that you're no longer getting along with,
you can do that too.
Yeah.
And get $50.
Yeah, you got some money for the bar.
There you go.
Or the prostitutes that were shoplifting.
Right? Exactly. Then there's this one. This is a good one. Popeye's chicken and biscuits, jalapenos chicken poopers, $8 for $2.99.
The Jalapenos Poopers last album was fantastic.
Yeah, that's not really that great a deal.
Yeah, no one wants a jalapenos. I mean, that's just especially in the pooper.
Especially in the pooper, right? Yeah, you don't want
it was 10 for $2.99.
My favorite thing about this sign, though, is that there's a random P down the bottom, and they just left it. They're like, fuck it.
Put it down there in case they needed it. Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think the rest of the message was probably.
Probably.
But they didn't have enough letters.
Exactly.
Or they didn't know how to spell probably.
Probably.
So like,
They probably didn't know how to spell probably.
They put the P up, and it was break time, and that was
it. Was break time. This was a good one here. Illegally parked cars will be fine. They'll be fine.
Right.
It's private parking, but they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I
it's
mean, I
all
like
good.
that. That's very friendly. With the barbed wire, the aggressive barbed wire right about
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, and then the last one, of course, save the best for last. This is obviously a road stand, farm stand, road stand. But I'm interested in how they acquire their crop, if you will. So I'll put it up here. We go. Fresh veggies.
Again, where is this? Because that's my kind of farmer's market.
There you go. Interesting.
Yeah.
And it blends with the background too. It's that we have on the podcast here. So.
Oh yeah,
we have veggies in the background.
Fresh veggies on the field.
What is the definition of fresh in this case?
Clean.
Hopefully legal but clean.
Powder fresh.
Like largely unused.
Yeah, that could be
perhaps experienced but recently spritzed.
Freshly picked.
What is the old joke with a piece of liver in there to tighten things up?
Tighten things up, right? Yeah.
If that's an old joke, then that's from an era that I've never experienced.
It's
a piece of liver
in there to tighten things up.
That is really.
It might be Harry. It might be a New York thing. It might be a New York.
You've never heard that joke?
No,
or an upstate New York thing.
Oh my gosh, that's a classic.
Put a piece of liver in there to tighten things up.
All right.
Well, no, that's not the punchline of the joke.
But this is wrong.
Wrong. It's just wrong.
I don't want to get into it.
Let's not get into it.
Well, you can if there's too much liver in there.
Oh God. It's very true.
Obviously, if you don't want to get into it, then put some liver there.
Right, exactly.
That's not fresh. There's no such thing as fresh and liver veg that go together.
They don't work. They don't work. All right. On that note, shall we get into the fun show? What do you think? What do you guys think?
I thought every show was.
Well, you guys think about it. If you want, at the end of the show, I'll tell you the joke.
Sounds like a plan.
I don't.
All right. Yeah. Let's get into the fun show.
Let's have a pitch count on this question.
Let's have a pitch clock.
A quiz clock.
The quiz clock. All right. Let's start off with an NFL, just a quickie. We are now heading into, preseason and NFL is coming up. So we're going to meld the two. But for all intents and purposes right now, this is the NFL, just a quickie. We're going to kick it off with this one.
This is a man who watches Good Morning NFL in August and July.
In July, I do. Pick one in their prime. All right. Let's let Harry go first on this one. Pick one in their prime. Mark Bavaro or Rob Gronkowski?
Gronkowski.
Okay. RadioPete.
Man. You couldn't have picked two teams that I care about more. Which one of these opposing tight ends do you hate more?
Or less, in your case.
Yeah. Gronk was better, so.
Okay. I'm going with Mark Bavaro. I'm going to tell you why.
Here we go.
I'll make it quick. No sense.
This has something to do with the visit to the firehouse in 1983.
It's set in their prime. Now, granted, Rob Gronkowski had major staying power. Played a lot longer, so forth and so on. Was better for a longer amount of time in their prime. So, prime Mark Bavaro, prime Rob Gronkowski. I'm going Mark Bavaro. I'm going Rambo. I'm going the original. I'm going the OG. So
Bavaro was great, but he was nowhere near Gronkowski's level, both in their prime or not in their prime.
Call me an old romantic, but
there you go. I mean, I'll take either nowadays.
Sure.
In their prime.
All right. That brings us, and we're going to flip-flop it back to baseball. Good one on that one, by the way. We're going to do a quiz. We're going to do the quiz is top Yankees Mets third baseman of all time.
Oh boy.
They have to have played for the Yankees and the Mets.
Yeah, played Yankees or the Mets. I'm going to give you 3 and 3. I'm going to give you 6 names. You know the drill. 4 got to stay.
I got you.
4 got to stay. 2 got to go.
All right.
So write these down.
Fire away. We'll remember.
Alex Rodriguez.
A-Rod.
Kicking it off with A-Rod.
A-Rod. Number 2.
D-Wright.
D-Rod.
D-Wright. David Wright. David Wright. The right David.
Number 3.
Number 3 would be Greg Nettles. Greg Nettles.
Number 4.
Robin Ventura.
Ooh.
Kind of played for both.
Yeah. Not very long for either.
4 years, 5 years for the Mets.
Yeah. Number 5.
The topic of conversation on an old radio show of mine and Pete's. But number 5, Scott Brocious.
Oh, the Brocious. Number 6.
Scott Brocious. I heard he went yard once.
Yeah, number 6.
And number 6, Hojo. Howard Johnson. So you got Alex Rodriguez, David Wright, Greg Nettles, Robin Ventura, Scott Brocious, and Howard Johnson. Radio Pete, you go first. Kick us off.
Well, you kind of have to keep A-Rod. He was pretty good.
I heard.
Well, what are we doing here? Are we just judging their tenure with
the Yankees
with
or
the Yankees and the Mets?
All right. Well, didn't the Yankees win in a World Series with A-Rod?
They did.
Yeah.
Was that the last World Series they've won?
Yeah,
that would be correct.
All right, so we'll keep A-Rod. I'm going to keep Nettles because he's one of the few Yankees I ever liked.
All right.
And he won some championships too, right?
He did. Yeah, a couple.
Yeah. Obviously, David Wright has to stay because he's David Wright.
Obviously.
And
that's it. Oh, we got to get 4.
4, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going
to... you got Robin Ventura, Scott Brocious, Howard Johnson.
Yeah, well, obviously Brocious is a piece of shit, so he's gone.
One of the nicest guys who's ever played the game.
Yeah.
Like, no one's ever said a bad word about Scott Brocious ever.
Till now.
Till today. Groundbreaking journalism.
I don't know. I like Ventura, but I got to go with Hojo.
Got to go with Hojo.
Yeah, sorry, Robin.
All right. So you got A-Rod, David Wright, Greg Nettles, and Howard Johnson. All right. Harry, yours, please.
You know, I think I agree with all of them. It's A-Rod, David Wright, Greg Nettles. That's a no-brainer. You know, Ventura he was with the Mets for 3 years, really. He had one great year with the Mets, 120 RBIs, 32 home runs.
He was part of the greatest infield ever in baseball.
Yeah, but I think Howard Johnson had a longer tenure with the Mets.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and I just feel like
Hojo meant more to Mets fans.
He's more of a Met to me than even though
Robin Ventura had the moments and obviously the accolades.
Hojo won 2 World Series though.
Hojo's been
2-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion and in the context of the Mets. I'm going to take him. And, you know, his best year was just as good as Ventura's best year at the Mets. I mean, he was a better hitter than I think people – there was the 3-year span there where, you know, the low he had in RBIs was 90.
Right.
At 36 home runs 1 year, 38 2 years later, and then he dropped off the face of the earth after that. But I'm going to go Hojo.
All right.
So we're going to agree.
A-Rod, David Wright, Greg Nettles, Hojo, both of you. I'm going to agree. I'm going to echo that. We're all 3 of us are in agreement. So there you go.
And Scott Brocious was, you know, a big moment guy. He was, you know, he's definitely not a household name, but he is. He had his moments.
Well, I mean, you know, I could have went back like for this list. I could have went back. You know, names like where was I gonna? Oh, geez, hold on. Nope, it was over here.
Yeah, Brocious won three championships.
He won 3, yeah.
But his numbers were nowhere close.
Well, I mean, I could have gone back and just the point I was trying to make is I could have gone back and done names from like the 20s and the 30s with the Yankees and what's his face in the 50s and 60s, but kept it more current, kept it like 70s and newer. So
and Nettles and A-Rod are maybe the two most iconic names, at least in, let's call it, semi-modern era of baseball.
Yeah,
for the Yankees.
Cool. There you go. All right. There you go. All right. Let's move on to the NFL question of the week.
All right.
Flipping it back to NFL. NFL question of the week is as follows. I'm going to actually change that on here too, so I don't screw that up. So NFL question of the week. Who will win this year's Battle of the Meadowlands preseason edition? Because they play twice now. They play in the regular season. The NFC East is playing the AFC East this year. So the Giants and the Jets will play each other twice this year, once in the preseason and once in the regular season. Giants home game both times.
What is it, the last preseason game?
It's the last preseason game, end of next month. And then
usually the team that is not as good, usually the worst team wins that game every year.
The one in the preseason.
In the preseason. I'm going to go Giants.
So you're
just
going
because I don't think the Jets are playing anybody in that game.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I think preseason the Giants are going to win.
All right. I agree with you. So we're all in agreement with that as well. So, Giants. There we go. All right. Sounds like a plan. We're cooking right along. Look at that. All right. All right. This in what do you guys think so far of these questions?
Great.
Nice, moving right along, right?
Move it.
A little slow.
Let's not ruin it.
A little slow. A little fast.
Gonna have a question clock violation.
All right. But I just had to change that because I typed NLF, not NFL. So
I think people would know.
People would probably figure it out. So.
Nobody cares. Right. Type abstract, type Chinese algebra on there and see if anybody cares.
That's true. All right. So we're switching it to the NFL.
Well, we're just on the NFL.
Well, no, the Rapid Fire Quiz has been Major League Baseball since
pick
March.
The top 12 out of these next 56 linebackers from 1953.
Exactly.
I want you to pick 47 of the 52-man roster of the 1975.
That's the question I'm going to get.
Green Bay Packers.
A little bit. Who was the third string punter for the Giants in
top 47 out of 52?
There you go. All right. Well, like I said, we're switching up.
Write these down.
No, writing anything down. We
46
changed
names later.
We've been doing baseball since the end of March. So the Rapid Fire Quiz is switching back to NFL now.
So I have no chance now. Yeah. Notice, anytime I've gotten close, it's been baseball.
We're going to ease into it, folks. We're not kicking it off with Newt Rockney's high school coach.
Create a starting rotation for the Yankees MS based on these pitchers. El Duque, Bartolo Colon, Ed Figueroa.
All right, here we go. NFL history quiz. Last week, 2 weeks ago, actually it was 3 weeks ago because we were off last week. 3 weeks ago, we had 4-1. Harry won 4-1.
Spanked. That's ugly.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. So,
all right,
we're going to kick it off with Pete as usual, as always. Here we go. Pete, you ready for your first question?
Oh yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
What's the topic? The NHL?
We're pickleball.
Top 5 Chuck
pickleball
moments in history.
Here we go. All right, Pete. Question number 1. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Need you to tell me which Jets wide receiver was the first NFL player ever to reach 10,000 receiving yards. Which Jets wide receiver was the first NFL player ever to reach 10,000 receiving yards?
I'll say Maynard.
Don Maynard would be correct. Good job there, Pete. You got one. So let's do that. Right.
Good night.
Thank you, and good night. All right. And he's gone. All right, Pete, question number 2. Ready?
Yeah.
Which Jets quarterback holds the record for most fumbles in one game? Which Jets quarterback holds the record for most fumbles in one game?
I'll say Chad Pennington.
Chad Pennington would be correct. Good job. You got that right. All right. And question number 3. Pete, who is the Jets' all-time leading scorer? Who is the Jets' all-time leading scorer?
I'll say
We're talking the New York Jets, right?
New York Jets, not the Winnipeg Jets. New York Jets, all-time leading scorer.
how about Jim Turner?
Jim Turner, would be wrong. Jim Turner's wrong. Harry for the steal.
It's got to be a kicker, right?
That's what I thought.
Who was the Leahy, Leahy, Leahy? What was his first? Pat Leahy. Let's try that.
Pat Leahy would be correct. 1,470 points over 18 seasons. Pat Leahy.
Wow.
All right.
That's a pretty good career.
It is.
He played for a long time.
He did. 18 years. All right. Switches to Harry now. Harry, you ready for your first question?
Yes.
All right. Harry, what is the square root of the hypotenuse from
Saquon Barkley?
Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Here we go. Harry, which team defeated the New York Giants in the greatest game ever played?
What was that? Was that the? Is it the? It's gotta be.
Gotta be.
Well, I'm trying to think of who. I think it's the Bears. Was it the Bears?
It is not the Bears.
It's not.
Not the
It
Bears.
was the Packers then.
Well, Pete's got to steal
Oh,
it.
sorry.
It wasn't the Packers either. If you want to
Okay.
about that. So, Pete, for the steal.
I'm very tempted to say Packers.
Well, it wasn't the Packers.
No, I know.
That's what you're tempted
I'll
to say.
say the Colts.
It was the Colts. It was the Baltimore Colts, 1958. Johnny Unitas.
Yeah, I couldn't remember who it was. I always forget about the Colts back then.
Colts were a powerhouse.
All right.
All right. Harry, question number 2. The New York Giants retired number 16 in honor of what former player?
Frank Gifford, right?
Frank Gifford is correct. Frank Gifford is correct. So there you go. All right. And Harry, your question number 3. What New York Giants defensive back went on to have a Hall of Fame NFL head coaching career?
Hall of Fame. He's still coaching?
What New York Giants defensive back went on to have a Hall of Fame NFL head coaching career?
Is he still coaching? I guess you can't tell me that. If he's, in the Hall of Fame, then he's not still coaching.
Well, unless he got in and came out of retirement.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Wasn't a head coach, huh?
With the Giants?
No, was he a Hall of Fame head coach?
Yeah. What
Head
New York
coach.
Giants defensive back went on to have a Hall of Fame NFL head coaching career?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm trying to think of which played. That'd be a while back. He was a DB. Is that what
Correct.
you said?
That's what I said. Defensive back. Yep.
Was it Herm Edwards?
It was not Herm Edwards. No, it was not.
He's not in the Hall of Fame either, I don't think.
No, he's not.
Not as a coach.
Pete, this you.
I'm going to say Tom Landry.
As a Cowboys fan, there you go. It would be Tom Landry. Tom Landry was
I did not know that.
Tom Landry was a defensive back with the Giants, became a defensive backs coach with the Giants, and then a defensive coordinator with the Giants, and then became the first head coach for the Dallas Cowboys ever. That would be correct.
And I only knew that because of I think it was a top whatever list that we had a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to look up Tom Landry's,
There you go.
Get some details about his bio. And Giants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tom Landry in 1956 when the Giants won the NFL championship against the Bears in 1956. Jim Lee Howell was the head coach. The defensive coordinator was Tom Landry, and the offensive coordinator was Vince Lombardi.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty good coaching staff.
Yeah, that's a heck of a coaching tree.
So there you go.
Who was the head coach?
Jim Lee Howell.
Wasn't he on
anything else?
Wasn't he on Gilligan's Island?
He was on Gilligan's Island. He went on to Gilligan's Island fame afterwards, right? Exactly. Okay. I would like to point out that we have a first tonight.
Pete won.
Pete won.
That means the Earth is going to end tomorrow.
Pete won. Yep. Pete won.
All right,
Anyway,
mark this day, the countdown to the apocalypse.
Exactly. 4-2. Pete won 4-2. Good job, Pete. All right.
I only got one of my own questions.
You got one of your own questions. Yeah. You stole one of Pete's. You got one of your own. So,
Oh, wow.
All right. There you go. All right. Good one. Good. Thought provoking. I thought it would. I thought it was going to be a little easier. But there you go. All right. Kick us back into
Harry,
NFL gear.
You got the toughest question right.
Yeah, I thought the Pat Leahy question was the toughest of all 6 of these. I really did. I thought it was. All right. Weird fact that we always do. The New York Giants are obviously one of only 6 teams to win at least 4 Super Bowls, right? We all know that, right? Weird fact is, in all the Super Bowls they played, including the one that they lost, in all of the Super Bowls they played, they trailed at the half. The one that they lost and all 4 that they won, they trailed at the half.
Yeah.
Weird fact. There you go.
Oh, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. So, there you go. All right. So, fade the music.
Comeback kids.
The comeback kids. There you go.
All right. Are we done?
You would think, but we have to do some other stuff.
Ooh.
Oh, some other stuff. All right. And that would be tonight's top 5. Tonight's top 5 is top 5 most important holdouts in NFL history. Top 5 most important holdouts in NFL history. All right. We have them set up, so I'm just going to go through them, and then we'll talk about all of them. All right. Pete's 5 were number 5, Darrelle Revis in 2010. Number 4, John Riggins in 1980. Number 3, Cornelius Bennett in 1987. In number 2, Emmett Smith in 1993, and number 1, Bo Jackson in 1986. What should we call it? I agree with all of them, as did Harry. But Harry also added on Le'Veon Bell, was Harry's number 4. And Harry and I also added on Eric Dickerson in 1985, and again in 1990. He held out twice. Eric Dickerson did. And then I added on, last but not least, John Hanna in 1977. Basically like the first modern day holdout, or ever holdout, really. When John Hanna,
and all those guys were, quote unquote alternates.
Right.
I think probably I probably would have put Hanna on my list. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what the criteria, what made it an important holdout.
Well, I mean, at the time, for Dickerson was the best player in the NFL.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Hanna historically was important. He went on to have a great career after that. Bo Jackson's is, not only did he hold out, but he went to play another sport first.
Right. For a couple of years.
The other ones were typical. I mean, Emmett Smith was pretty good. Cornelius Bennett was important. But I think, Dickerson's was pretty shocking at the time, only because, he held out, came back, played, and he had 2 of the best years that running backs ever had.
Right. Well, that's kind of what I was like. Smith held out. The Cowboys were 1-2. He came back and they won the Super Bowl. Riggins held out for a whole year. Was retired, actually.
Yeah, I forgot about Riggins holding out for a whole year.
Yeah, and then came back, and then I think either that
Riggins
season or the next season,
like
they won the Super Bowl.
He was 38 as a rookie anyway, wasn't he, Riggins?
Something like that.
Wasn't
so I kind of looked at
first World War or something?
He was 38 when he won the Super Bowl with the Jets in 69, so
yeah. And Bennett, they never won the Super Bowl, but he didn't. Was it Indy? I think was it the Colts that drafted him?
The Colts drafted him, yeah,
and he didn't want to go there, and he ended up on the Bills. It was a big.
How many times have the Colts been involved with somebody not wanting to go there?
Yeah, boy, over and over. So that's kind of what and right, Bo Jackson, of course.
Well, Riggins too in 1980, he held out the season. He didn't play the season, right? He decided to skip the entire season, and then a year later in 81, he comes back and he was famously quoted as saying, "I'm bored, I'm broke, and I'm back."
Yeah.
Right.
And Revis is kind of a homer call for me, but I don't know. I don't think the Jets would have gone to a second AFC championship without him.
No, and that was sort of. I mean, that's what we were talking about last week. Is that was sort of documented on. It was part of the show, the HBO show that we were talking about, the behind the scenes show. What is it called?
The Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
Yeah. I mean, look, this year we've got Saquon, Chris Jones, Daniel Hunter, Lawrence Guy. We've got what's his name on the offensive lineman for the Cowboys. There's a lot of big name players. Out of all of these holdouts, do you think any of them will actually miss games this year?
No, I really don't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, Tony Pollard already signed his,
right?
No, I don't think anybody's going to miss any games. I really
not even Brandon Jacobs. Josh Jacobs.
I think Brandon Jacobs will miss a few games this year.
Yeah, Brandon Jacobs will definitely. I mean, yeah.
By the way, just so everybody knows, I was joking about John Riggins. He was still in college when the Jets won the Super Bowl in '69. So
nobody cares.
I know.
Nobody knows who he is.
Just want to make sure that I covered my ass.
Yeah, we're the only people hashtagging John Hanna and John Riggins.
Right, and people are listening saying, "Who the hell
are the grandchildren of John Riggins?"
I don't even remember that.
Hey, somebody mentioned Grandpa on
the
computer.
He was a traitor.
That's right, exactly. What are they? Anyway, all right. Cool.
No, I don't think anybody's going to actually miss any games.
I don't either.
I think they'll be back. I mean, certainly running backs. What are you gonna,
Yeah.
the way that position is treated now?
Well,
go
you know
ahead
what?
and hold out. We'll
And
just get somebody else.
And Le'Veon Bell's a cautionary tale for running backs too right now, because look at what happened to him afterwards.
Yeah.
He played.
That's why I didn't put him.
He held out for 2018. He came back. He played 3 seasons after that with 4 different teams and sucked.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put him on my list, because he didn't have much impact when he came back. And
he was just quoted. He was just quoted a week or so ago as saying that he regrets not working out a deal with the Steelers and staying and playing in 2018.
Yeah, although it's fair to say that the Steelers were much better with him than they were without him.
Well, yeah,
or better off with him than they were.
They're better off with him than without him. Yeah. So, but anyway, cool. All right. I would think that was a good list today. It was a good, thought-provoking one. If you want.
Again, when we have these lists, and when we all kind of have our own criteria of what, what I mean, fulfills that requirement or whatever it is. Right. That's when we have, I think, our best lists.
I agree. Harry, do we have any old balls tonight? No old balls. Well, it wouldn't be a show.
Other than the 6, at least I'm assuming 6 that are talking to you right now.
Here right now.
Say, we all have old balls.
We all have.
None that we want to talk about on the show.
Well, you can go to Pete's OnlyFans for that.
Did that just play for you guys?
No. Is it Taco Tuesday? Is it also Old Ball Tuesday?
Taco Tuesday is Old Ball Tuesday. Exactly. Here we go.
Old balls.
Oh, there
we go. They were nothing if not timely and professional.
Of course. Anyway. All right. Cool. Got another quickie for you.
Oh boy, so many quickie things. They all add up to
other sports. Just a quickie. Just want to put that. What's your most wildest NFL preseason memory? It's a little out there, but what you can remember, your wildest preseason memory, NFL wildest preseason memory.
I think I remember going to see the Giants and Jets play, and the Jets were the home team, and I just realized that, wow, there is something different about people from Queens and Long Island.
Fair enough. Pete?
Preseason experience.
Preseason.
Yeah, also a Jets and Giants game. And what I remember about it is I don't know exactly what the groups were. But I thought maybe they were fraternities, or maybe representing just a bunch of people from a couple of different colleges or something. But one group of young men were Jets fans, and the other group of young men were Giants fans. And throughout the game, they were having chanting contests. Where they would make up chants disparaging the other team, and then all shout them out and try and get the crowd involved and stuff like that. And
there you go.
So there are some good ones and some we can't repeat on the air.
Gotcha.
I mean, technically we could, but it was funny because you'd hear one, and then there'd be a call and an answer, and then everybody would go quiet while they were thinking up what they were going to shout next.
Right.
And then it would come back. I don't remember what happened in the game. I think the Giants won. I don't know.
Right.
But it was fun to hear very enthusiastic young men. Not that I was. Well, this was a while ago, but I was still not necessarily a young man. So enthusiastic young man showing their support for their teams by shouting ridiculous things in unison. It was fun.
Enough. It was fun. There you go. All right, mine. Just to throw it out there, I'll say 2 really quick, but mainly the one was I don't remember if it was 2009 or 2010. It was one of the 2 years, and at a preseason game, and might have been 2009 because I think it was the old stadium, but I'm not sure. Either way, I was at a preseason game, and Giants. I'm not sure who they were playing. Could have been the Jets, but there's this rookie that they signed to the practice squad that. He received a kickoff and ran it back, I believe was the play, and he was like lightning, and he moved really well, cut up the field and had a really good return. And I looked at him. I says, you know what? He's either that or it was a pass. He was playing wide receiver because he did both in that game. And either way, I was like, that kid's gonna do a lot of good things with the Giants. And it didn't really happen that year, but the year after that, they signed him, and that would be a kid by the name of Victor Cruz. So that was kind of cool.
I thought you were going to say it was Leon Bright.
It's Leon Bright, right? Yeah, no. Not so. But
Victor Cruz had a couple good years there, didn't he?
He did. He had a bunch of good years until he hurt himself, obviously. But
definitely a top 10 Giants receiver of all time.
I would say so. And then the other one I threw out there was I made a preseason bet in the preseason with my uncle. This is going back to 93, I believe it was. No, I don't believe it was. It was 93. And he said, let's make a bet. He says, what do you think the Giants record's going to be this year? He asked me. And I said, you give me yours first. And he said something like, the Giants are going, 7-9 or something like that. He said, he really doesn't believe in it because they were just coming off of 2 years with Ray Hanley. And obviously it was the first year with Dan Reeves at head coach. And I looked at him and I said this, and this is the honest truth, not making any of this up. This is exactly what happened. It was August. And I looked at him and I said, Giants are going to go 11-5. They're going to miss winning the division by 1 game. They're going to win the wild card game and then lose in the divisional round.
Were you 6 years old?
In 93, I was 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
Whatchamacallit. So that's exactly what they did. They went 11-5. Dallas went 12-4 and won the division. Giants won the wild card game and lost to San Francisco. And I literally called it. I looked at him like not too long after that.
What's been wrong with you this last couple of years? Then?
2 years ago and 3 years ago it did well, right? But last year you guys blew me away. I was all over the place last year. I wasn't in.
No, I'm not saying general picks. Just you're picking where the Giants are going to be.
Oh well, I guess back then I was correct.
You've been optimistic.
Yeah. I've been too optimistic. That's what it's been.
Yeah, a little bit.
I've been too optimistic. I've been well. You know why? Because we all got transported back to the 70s, right? They sucked. They sucked for 4 years, and 5. Mm-hmm. And
you're like, this is it. They got to come out of it sometime.
At some point, I got to be right? So.
Just every batter that steps up, this guy's going to hit a home run. Eventually, you're going to be correct.
Eventually, you're going to be correct. Exactly. Anyway, all right, cool. Pete, do we have an over/under?
We do have an over/under tonight.
We have an over/under. Pete's box over/under. Take it away.
Nothing from the shelves though, but this should be an interesting one. Well, I'm not going to say it should. Hopefully, it's an interesting one. Mm-hmm. So, as I'm sure you and our vast audience are aware, I deliver things to people for a living. Mm-hmm. You can probably tell by my clothes and my haircut.
Good news, whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah. So every now and then I get a tip, a gratuity, one might say. So I have today's gratuities in my pocket right here. Mm. And
he's got a little change in his pocket going jingling-lang.
I don't really know how much is in there because when people give me stuff, I just take it and I put it in my pocket and I say thank you. So,
how many deliveries do you do in a day?
Well, that's a good question. Busy days, it's like 40 to 50. Most days, it's probably around 25 or 30. I will say that
today was a busy day or a standard.
Today was it was not great, but not terrible. It wasn't slow, but certainly wasn't a busy day. It was mediocre.
And what percentage of people would you say on average tip?
A small percentage. I would say
10%.
No, I'd say
20%.
I'd say 5%. Yeah. Right. Now it depends. Like a day like Valentine's Day when I'm bringing flowers, that's a great day. Mother's Day, those are
how about in the summer?
Alcohol, delivering alcohol usually is good.
Well, you're wearing your short shorts and your low cut shirts these days.
I do have the gray shorts,
and
the V-neck, yes.
Yeah.
And I also have a blue safety vest,
Yes,
which some people consider,
some people really like. Yeah.
sexy.
Yeah.
So,
What's the over under?
So the over under. So I would say today was an above average day for the number of tips. I'll say that. So I don't want to give too much away. So I'll set the over-under at $25.50.
$25.50.
And again, I'm not sure how much is in there.
So I wrote down that you made $30 in tips.
$30 in tips. All right.
So I wrote down 25 at first, and then I wrote down $30. You can see it right there.
All right.
And so I'm going to be optimistic. I'm usually wrong at this stuff. I'm going to go over.
20. You're saying 25.50 is the over under?
Yeah.
That's what Pete said.
Well, yeah. Or 20, more than 25.
All right.
It's an even dollar amount, so 25 and a penny could be the over under as well. So
all right, I got you. All right, fair enough. I'm going under.
Going under.
I'm going under.
Whip it out, big boy.
All right. So here's the wad.
You.
All right. I'm going to put it down here. We'll go through here. So I got $1. I got another $1.
Mm-hmm.
I got $3. I got a Finsky. That's 8. I got a 10 spot. So that's 18. And I got another 10.
28.
28.
There you go.
Now, I could tell you this. One of these 10s I only got because the guy didn't have any change.
One of these 10s I started with.
So sometimes people ask me if I have change, which I usually do. But I made this delivery and he goes, "Oh, hang on, let me get you something." And I was like, okay. So he comes back with a 10. He goes, "I don't have a change." He goes, "I don't have anything smaller, so here you go." Like, he didn't ask me, and I wasn't going to volunteer.
Tell him that because of his generosity,
the next time I see him,
Harry Lug Nutz has won the over-under.
Yeah. You should. And just
time I see him, I'm gonna let him know.
And just there you go. There's Pete's blue vest right there.
I like it. I'd give you $10 just for
there you go.
for leaving the premises.
This was Pete. This was the night that we went to the brewery that closed at 8, and we stayed there till 8:30.
Well,
that's right.
When you have a safety vest on, nobody's going to kick you out.
They're going to kick you out, right?
You would be amazed at what you can get away with a safety vest.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good one.
That was good. I enjoyed that. Cool. All right. Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I got a couple things real quick. They won't take very long.
Yeah, go for it.
So I know I think I would be correct in saying I'm probably the biggest soccer fan amongst the three of us.
What soccer?
Yeah, at least by a little. So I don't know if you've heard the news, but this Friday, one of the guys that many people consider the GOAT, Lionel Messi, making his debut for Inter Miami in the Major League Soccer. Sure. Lured here. I don't even know how much money he's making, but it's a ton. Inter Miami, by the way, one of the worst teams. I think they are the worst team in Major League Soccer. But Messi is here, and apparently he was out in a supermarket in Miami, and nobody knew who the hell he was.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So, but I'm sure people that go to the game will know. Tickets prices for Inter Miami, again, the worst team in Major League Soccer, are up something like 500% since they announced that he was joining the team about a month ago. So
he's agreed to play for 2.5 seasons, which I find interesting. And his deal is valued at upwards of $150 million.
Yeah.
There you go, Saquon Barkley.
And he's, I don't know, 38 or 39 or something like that.
Wow. Well, there you go.
So, and I mean, look, this is this one similarity now with MLS.
Is this as big as when Pele came to the Cosmos?
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a
gonna
good?
Messi is definitely a Pele level player right now.
Don't you think that's about a good comparison? I mean, historically that was a long time ago.
Yeah. People are going to be saying who, right? But yeah,
well, right. Well, what I was going to say is that this is
definitely that way.
One of the similarities between the MLS now and the old NASL. In the old NASL, you had Pele and you had Beckenbauer and Johan Cruyff for the Netherlands.
Franz Beckenbauer.
Beckenbauer.
And, they were all, again, not washed up, but on the back end of their careers, and they all came here, Canalia for the Cosmos and all that. And you had the same thing, right?
Giorgio Canalia.
2007 or 2008, Beckham was really one of the first guys who came here. You had
his wife,
Wayne Rooney, and
I heard he can bend. I heard he can bend it.
He can.
Mickey Rooney played professional.
Mickey Rooney, and Zlatan, of course, and now the biggest of them all, Messi. Although Ronaldo has gone to the new Saudi league, so finally he and Messi will. But I imagine they'll probably have some sort of a meeting it. But yeah, the MLS, just like the old NASL, where old European players go to cash in big before they retire.
Yeah, there you
go. And Beckham's an owner now, so
that's true.
He which is one of the criticisms that people have of David Beckham, is instead of, his coming here was largely ridiculed at first, but instead of coming and playing and then continuing to try and grow soccer here in the United States, he just came and became an owner.
Right.
Just another owner,
He also played in LA for a while, right?
No, he did, right. But after that, he didn't really do much to try and.
I mean, soccer remains
as it has always been the next great sport here in the United States.
Well, but I'm gonna say something which I think has changed. I mean, even in New York might have been the right spot for Pele, and LA might have been the best spot for Beckham, but it's probably not a city that has a larger, I'd say, primarily Latin or Hispanic base that would be, and also more of an affluent city that can help support some of these ticket prices. Because I mean, look, Denver has a big soccer stadium that they built. They've had some pretty big international games here, especially some U.S. versus fill in the blank Tottenham,
Spurs,
Spurs, or whatever the case might be. So there are, New York's obviously still a big city. Don't they have two professional teams in New York?
New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, let's say same thing. But I do think Miami, if there's going to be a city that it represents maybe the future, at least the near future of American soccer, I think he probably picked the right place to go.
Well, they definitely need to do something. I mean, at least they'll get people there initially, but if they don't do some winning, then that's all going to go out the window.
True.
We know what happens to professional sports teams in Southern Florida who don't win, or even in the case of the Marlins when they do win a couple of championships. But that was really the ownership that just destroyed. That was what's his name, that jackass that used to own the Marlins. So anyway,
he's making $60 million a year.
Yeah. Well, listen. Hopefully, he will be the kind of ambassador that we would like, and he will help raise them. I mean, look, MLS started, I think, with 13 teams, and now there's 29 or 30. So it has grown, certainly. But it would be nice if, I don't know, maybe we had some young guys and we've got, listen, there are American born and raised players who are going to play in some of the top teams overseas as well. Yeah,
it works both ways. More so the other way, but it does work both ways.
Atlanta is the other city that is become a very big MLS audience draw. I mean, they actually have drawn 540,000 people this year in 12 games. So Some of these other teams, are they've branched out into smaller primary cities or some secondary cities. And, you look at the Galaxy in New York, not nearly the draws as some of these other teams are. So, Atlanta is by far the biggest.
There you go.
And I'm guessing that, and you would think Miami would be good, and Miami's got 181,000 people in 11 games this year, puts them 25th out of 29 teams. So,
well, Messi coming in, I think that'll change.
Terrible.
So.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying.
But their attendance will go up now. But we'll see what. I would imagine they're going to. Actually, I think they announced they're going to sign somebody else. They're going to bring in a couple people that Messi has played with. Guys that he knows, guys he's familiar with. I think they'll bring in a couple of other.
I think Franz Beckenbauer should have a return.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Let's see what
he could probably do it.
Franz Beckenbauer is a Dutch beer, is it not?
It is.
There should be a drink named Franz Beckenbauer. I think there was a band that came out in the 2000s called Franz Beckenbauer.
Yeah,
Take Me Out.
Well, like I said, we've had a number of aging European stars have come here. Certainly, I would say maybe Beckham, as far as
he's 77 years old. He's
known popularity around the world. Maybe maybe not as much strictly for soccer, but for other things like his wife and stuff. But
I would say Messi and Ronaldo are the two best known soccer players in the world.
Yeah. But I don't know if any of them have really. Again, the league has grown, but we'll see what Messi does as far as whether he just comes and plays and then disappears, or whether he really makes it his mission to improve and increase and grow soccer here in the United States. I hope he does that.
We shall see.
We shall
see.
We shall.
Anyway, last but not least, remember Larry Nassar?
The owner of
Nope.
Larry Nassar.
The gymnastics doctor.
Oh, the doctor. Okay.
Right, sexually abused the USA gymnast for decades and blah, blah, blah. And
Dr. Feelbad.
Eventually went to prison where I would say currently is, except he's in the hospital. Because a couple of weeks ago or a week and a half ago, he got stabbed 6 or 7 or 8 times.
In jail, right?
In jail, yeah. And I think he's in the hospital. He has a collapsed lung. He's in stable condition. But the report that I saw, I guess it was about a week ago, was that I guess a bunch of the inmates were watching Wimbledon. So it was, I guess about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they were watching one of the women's matches, and Nassar made some comment about wanting to see some girls playing. And I don't think there's anything worse in prison than a pedophile as far as crimes go.
Right.
Like, as far as like other inmates, right? If you're a murderer, the other guys in jail don't want to kick the shit out of you because you're a murderer or, whatever. But if you're a pedophile, I think you're gonna suffer. Those are the guys that even hardened criminals look down on, right? So they didn't take kindly to that, and they stabbed him a bunch of times and collapsed his lung. And unfortunately, he's still alive. So here's hoping he gets better and goes back to jail, and then they can fucking finish the job.
There you go. All right. Well, on that happy note.
In Pete's stabbing of the week, slightly sports related.
That was one-time gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar.
That was another meme I had for the beginning of the show, but it was too blurry. It was a billboard. It said "murder."
Brought to you by Ray Lewis.
It said "murder." It's wrong. That's what it said.
Right.
A billboard on the side of the road. It said "no murder." Yeah. It's wrong. So.
Well, no, because I was just thinking, like, all right, if you're a pedophile and you're already reviled in prison, What could be worse than that? Well, being the doctor for America's gymnastics, right? The gymnastics team, one of the most successful sports entities or endeavors that this country's ever known, right?
Right.
Female gymnastics, we're the fucking best. And have been forever, with the exception of a couple of years for Russia or whatever.
Right.
So not only are you a pedophile, but you're anti-American and anti-patriotic, and you're sexually abusing America's gymnasts.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that he survived, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Well, we shall see. All right. Any uplifting things before we go?
Tune in next week for our top 5 athletic murders.
Top 5 scumbags who should be murdered in prison.
Where will Aaron Hernandez rank on that list? Thomas Hollywood Henderson. Who knows? Darrell Henley. Jimmy Hitchcock. Sam Hurd.
Oh, jeez. You don't have to wait till next week. You got him.
Jamal Lewis.
Anyway. All right. I think there's a bunch.
Oh, there's a list here. It's just insane. It's not all murder, but Eric Naposki, first-degree murder. Nate Newton, drug trafficking. Lawrence Phillips, assaults.
Lawrence Taylor snorting the 50-yard line for a halftime shot.
Alabama Pitts, armed robbery. Joe Prokop, tax evasion. Salim Rashid, food stamp fraud, immigration fraud, 2 counts of school employee engaging in a sex act.
That's a joke, by the way. I mean, obviously, just he didn't do that. And I love LT, so that was just humor, is what that was.
Well, he definitely snorted a lot of cocaine. But I mean, O.J. Simpson, C.J. Stillman.
What did he do?
Spellman. I don't know. Nothing, obviously. You got Michael Vick. Yeah, I mean, Kellen Winslow II was 14 years in jail.
Yeah.
You forget about some of these. I mean, that could be an interesting, list of professional sports people convicted of crimes. Top 10.
I don't know if I want to do it as a top 10 list. Maybe we'll just do it as a separate show one day.
Everybody pick your top 5. It's our top 5 list with 19 entries.
Yeah, but what equates to top 5? Like what they did, how they did it, how long they were in jail for,
how famous they were, how good a player they were.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors. That's what'll make it a good list.
I mean, did you die in prison? That's there's not very many of those.
No.
Yeah. Did any of your victims die?
That's right.
All right, let's stop this. All right.
That's what we call the
I'm
fun
trying
show,
to find
folks.
something to uplift, and you keep talking about it.
Well, here's something uplifting.
Well, listen.
Megan Rapinoe has decided to play in the one last
Game
tournament here, I guess, and
World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup. So it's going to be her last one.
She's going to do a one-on-one against Messi.
Yeah. Well, look, if you talk about people who have impacted soccer, she's right at the top of the list.
Yeah.
And, you can say what you want about her. I admire her greatly. Her and a number of her teammates, but I think she's got way more. She's much braver and has bigger balls than most athletes who have a platform to make change in this country and in the world. And I'm glad she's getting her, a proper swan song. She's had an incredible career. So I look forward to it. And we'll see. This is going to be an interesting time for the U.S. women. They've been so dominant, but the world is catching up a little bit, and we'll see how this younger crop of players can fare in the World Cup.
Sounds good. All right. Well, that was uplifting. So
I would also say I think the Nasser story is uplifting because it shows that even guys in prison can have a sense of what's really wrong.
I gotcha. I see where you're going.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough. All right. Well, there you go. All right. Sounds good. All right, folks. On that note, we will wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching.
Next week's over under is
for those of you just listening.
How many stab wounds did Nasser have?
To the audio podcast. Thanks for listening. Anyway, don't forget to visit our website, www.getonwithitpodcast.com. That's getonwithitpodcast.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Of course, just search for the Get On With It podcast. And of course, all of our shows are available on YouTube as well on the Log Room channel. Remember, we go live with a video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night around 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast and not watch us on the show live or rewatch us, just don't want to see us and you want to hear our voices, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget what's the top 10 next week? What's the over-under next week?
Over-under is going to involve stab wounds, and our top 10 next week is top 10 convicted athletes
There you go.
of all time.
Yeah. Over-under is how many holes does Larry Nasser have in his body?
How many unnatural
and knife-made.
both natural and man-made.
Natural and knife-made, yeah.
Knife-made.
I thought you were going to say natural and man-made.
Man-made.
God, I don't know him that well.
Anyway, all right. Well, it should be interesting either way. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear this on First Take.
No, this is definitely not topics that they talk about. So.
Those chicken shit motherfuckers don't talk about
Right.
this stuff.
Have a take on this, Kendrick Perkins, you big bastard.
Anyway. All right.
I like to hear Skip Shannon defend Larry Nasser.
By the way, Skip Bayless is just now shouting in a closet to himself, right?
Yeah, that's the show.
He's gone, right?
No, I think what's his name's gone.
Oh no,
Skip's
that's right.
gone.
Shannon said I've had enough, right?
Yeah. So it's just he's got other people. I think he has revolving, right? People
the quality of on-air personalities on sports networks has gotten so bad that I'm starting to like Skip Bayless.
There you go.
He's different.
It's gotten so bad that we actually stand a chance to be hired by some of these networks.
We think and we're way too thoughtful about our comments.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah,
I think before tonight's show that was true, but not
so much.
Not anymore.
Yeah, maybe they watch this show and hire us on the spot.
That's right. Dominique Foxworth had a much better take on the Nasser stabbing.
I love their top five, and they took on the Nasser story like no one else.
It always gets a little weird towards the end. I don't know. They just started talking about Larry Nasser.
Just watch the last 10 minutes of the show. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, there's talk about a stabbing. There's always some weird tangent about Barney Miller, and then they're counting some guy's pills all the time. I don't know what's going on.
And they mentioned some guy Peel or Bockenboer or something.
Yeah.
I don't know who they were talking about.
They were talking
I
about
assume other serial rapists. I don't know.
Peel Bockenboer.
Top 10 serial killers. I mean, now that would be pretty good. Top 10 serial killers.
Yeah, that's a
CEARAL serial.
It's hard to beat John Wayne Gacy.
I think we should do a 4 out of 6. Which 4 do you keep?
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right. I'm Gacy all the way. I'm Team Gacy.
All right. On that note,
he dressed as a clown. You can't beat that.
You can't beat that. Yeah. All right. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. And we'll talk to you next week, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.